Hello parents and welcome back. We're so excited you could join us again. My name is Allison Cottingham and I'm one of the ELA academic facilitators. I'm joined by...
I'm Selena Bryan. I'm one of the math academic facilitators.
Today we're going to talk to you about some more skills that you can work on with your learner at home. In kindergarten, in English Language Arts, we are working on identifying the initial sound of words. That's the beginning sound. So we've given you some things that you can work on with your student. One thing we've given you is an alphabet chart. And before you get started on any initial sound activities, you want to review the alphabet chart with your student. Like you might say, C, cat, k, D, duck, d. And you would keep doing that with all the letters so that your student could review all of those letter sounds. Then you can try a couple of different activities. You can use little objects that you have at home, like I might have a toy octopus and I might say, what sound do you hear at the beginning of octopus? Oh, I hear ah, ah. Or what sound do you hear at the beginning of sun? What sound do you hear? Sun. That's right, you hear the S sound at the beginning of sun. You could also do that with pictures that you have at your house. Like I have a picture of a dog. What sound do you hear at the beginning of dog? What's that? D, d, dog, that's right. And you could keep doing that. Another activity that you can do is you could have some toys or some pictures and you could have your students sort them by the beginning sound. So I have a bottle. What sound do we hear at the beginning of bottle? Oh, that starts with a B, so I'm going to put that here. What about milk? Now, a bat. B, b. Oh, that starts the same like bottle. B, b, bat. B, b, bottle. And then the same with like a mop. What sound does mop start with? Like milk. So you could have your learner practice sorting objects by the same beginning sound. Another way that you can practice to get in a little bit of handwriting is you could call out a word such as bus. What sound do you hear at the beginning of bus? And you could have your students say b, b. What letter starts with that? And then they could write the letter that begins like bus with a B, a letter B. Now I'm going to turn it over to math.
Hello. So I know your students last month have been working on counting. So for the next month in November and continuing on in December, we're going to be going into shapes. So we're thinking about shapes here. And if you notice on the unit guide here for November, our vocabulary, we're working on 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes. The words that are listed here for your vocabulary: square, circle, triangles, rectangles, hexagons. Those are the specific ones your child will need to know and for 2-dimensional shapes. And then the ones that are listed for 3-dimensional: cube, cone, sphere, and cylinder. Those again are the specific shapes that your student will need to know for kindergarten. So with along that, so things that you can do around the house is an activity called a shape hunt. This can get really fun with your students. You can do this inside with things around your house, or you can even go on a nature walk and go outside and try to find shapes that are what was listed what they are to learn in kindergarten. Like for example, if you're around the house and you see a cup, you could talk to your student about what does a cup look like? What kind of shape does this think of? And you can also ask them, is it 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional? And of course, it's a 3-dimensional and it's like in the shape of a cylinder. Okay, so just identifying the shapes, understanding that when they see, like for example, are 2-dimensional, like a triangle or a square, understand they can identify those, but then also, can they compare those? So part of the shape hunt activity that you can also do is have your student describe the attributes. That's a big word, and we even use that with our kindergartners. But attributes is like the traits or the properties of the shape. Like for example, if I'm trying to describe a triangle, what do I notice? I have straight sides. I have 3 sides. We could even get into some of the color and other attributes of things too. But then the last thing that they will also be learning with this is also how to compare and contrast the shapes. How are they alike and how are they different? So for example, if I have a hexagon here and I have my triangle again, we can ask them, what are things you see that are the same about these shapes? Well, I see they each have some straight sides, or how are they different? Like the hexagon has more sides than the triangle. You can even do this with three-dimensional, and even talking about, again, things they find. If you're around your house, we know sometimes we have these decorative balls laying around. That's like a sphere. What are things that are similar to this to another shape they find in the house? So this is a great activity that goes along with our geometry that we're learning in kindergarten for November and December. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today, and we see you next time.
See you next time.